So yeah, like I said earlier, we will be talking about Agile methodology, and we will talk about what it is, and what is the Agile framework, what is Scrum, what are the Scrum team, what are the Scrum ceremonies, Agile Scrum framework at a glance, how everything comes together. So that's what we'll be talking about this evening. So let's move right in. So, what is the Agile methodology? As it says on there, it's an iterative incremental approach to delivering projects, which emphasize on delivering small functional pieces of software in short cycle. So let me give you a scenario, basically, what this first point is talking about. Let's assume that we are building an application like an e-commerce, let's say Amazon, for instance. We use Amazon. So let's say like for the first sprint, which is the first 2 weeks, they want to build, the Amazon CEO wants to build core functionalities like registration. I want my users to be able to register when they come to Amazon. I want them to be able to search for products, and I want basic checkout. This is what the product owner wants. This is what the CEO wants. So so these functional pieces of software, like the registration, basic checkout, we want to build it and deliver this piece of software in the first iteration. Or you can call it sprint. So we develop this software in bits in a series of cycles until we deliver the full Amazon. In our case, like Amazon, we deliver full software, working software. So so basically, this also like applies to if you want to build a data-driven application as well. So basically, in a nutshell, it's agile methodology is a framework we use to build a piece of an application. So it helps us prioritize flexibility, collaboration, and overall customer satisfaction. So basically, in a nutshell, like I said, agile is a defined principles or process, if you want to call it that as well. So so the agile framework, agile is like an umbrella, okay? It's a framework that provides guidelines, roles, and ceremonies that help organization adopt and scale agile methodologies. So here, these lists you see here, right here, the Scrum, Dynamic System Development Method, that's called DSDM, Crystal, XP, Extreme Programming, Kanban, Lean Development, Feature-Driven Development, FDD. These are the popular agile frameworks that that exist, and there are many more. That's why you see dot dot dot. There are many more, but these ones are the most common ones. However, there is one of the most common framework out there, you know, and that is the Scrum. And that's why when you're applying for jobs like the QAs or data, and you will see, oh, have you worked in an agile Scrum environment before? So this is it, Scrum. Scrum is the most popular one out there. And they are now so yeah, so basically it's basically the most common one. And that is why in our internship we are going to adopt that this framework, which is the agile Scrum environment. So next I'll be diving into more detail about Scrum. What is Scrum? What is this Scrum? So Scrum, as it says there, is an agile framework for managing and delivering projects. It is widely used for managing, like I said, managing and delivering product with a focus on delivering values to the customer or delivering product to the customer. So now a lot of people do confuse, okay, what is agile? I'm Scrum. I'm now confused. What is it? So let me just, go back again. Agile is a defined process with some principles, and Scrum is that framework that will help us to deliver and test the software in agile processes. So that is the difference between the two. So yeah, so next we'll be talking about what are the teams, like who are these guys that makes up this Scrum team? So you've got our number one guy, our main guy, product owner or business analyst. We've got Scrum Master. We've got the development team. The development team, it could or the data analyst like you guys, and the QAs and software testers that test the application that you data analyst has built. So these guys are the group of people, like I said, involved in the Scrum team. They work together as one team, and the ultimate goal is to deliver a quality product to the customer. So for going there, so basically The product owner. Who is a product owner? Product owner defines the features of the product, prioritize features according to the market value, adjust features and prioritize every work or every iteration as needed, accept or reject work results. So basically, they are the guys that goes to the CEOs and gets the requirement. What do you want? What do you want us to build? So they start listing everything that the CEO wants. So they are the mouthpiece sort of the CEO. So they bridge between the CEOs and the development team. They basically sit in the middle. So that's what product owner do. Scrum Master, the main role, again, is to facilitate, like I'm doing, facilitate and drive this process and make sure that this process works effectively. Then the developers, you guys, or the development team, like you guys, the data, you be given the project to, you go and build it. And then the testers will test what you've built. So basically, these are the teams that makes up the Scrum team. They work collaboratively to make sure that we deliver a functional working product. So these are the guys. I'll be asking questions later, guys, so better pay attention. So yeah. So what are the Scrum ceremonies? So Scrum ceremonies, like it says, are the key events or meetings, if you want to call it that, within the Scrum framework that facilitate collaboration, communication, and coordination among team members. Like I put it in bold, team members. And these ceremonies are specifically organized to ensure that the Scrum team, just like that, to make sure that these guys, are organized, to make sure that these guys are following the rules. So that's what the Scrum ceremonies are. They're designed to ensure that the Scrum team are in sync with the developing software, adapts to changes, and continuously improves its processes. So now I'll be going into the different ceremonies, that's being carried out during the Agile Scrum, in Agile Scrum methodology. So I'll be going into each of these ceremonies now. Okay. So the ceremonies. We've got 5 Scrum ceremonies. These are very, very important ceremonies. And you can see here, number 1, we've got sprint planning. It takes place at the start of the sprint. It's the first event of the sprint, that happens. And this is basically where we review the product backlog items and prioritize them according to the business. Then during this ceremony, we commit those stories that we want to take on in the sprint, and when we work on them. So number 2 is the daily Scrum. So these takes place every single day during the sprint, and the sprint review takes place at the end of the sprint. So the main purpose of this is to review every completed work that was done within the sprint, and then gather feedback. If I did go into detail, yeah, I did go into detail. So this is just an overview. So the sprint review, where we sort of review everything that we've done, and then the product owner or the CEO will give us feedback based on what we built. And then we've got the retro here as well. Retro. So this takes place again at the end of the sprint. So when we talk about what didn't go well, and then this is the refinement. Again, this is where we read stories and make sure that it's understood and estimate them based on the effort it will take us to do that. This takes place continuously. That's why it says continuously. It takes place throughout the sprint. So these are the 5 important ceremonies, during that takes place in when you work in an Agile Scrum environment. And the exciting part is that we will be doing all these ceremonies so that we get used to them. And then when you go out there, you'll be confident and say, yes, I have taken part and I have worked in an Agile Scrum environment, and these are the ceremonies that we do. So next, I will be going into details on each of these ceremonies. So the first, like I said, sprint planning is the first event that takes place in the sprint. And this is where we review the product backlog items by selecting the top priority items first based on what the CEO wants. If they said for day one, I want my Amazon to have where people can come in and register, register, and they can be able to buy or purchase whatever they want. This is the most critical for them. This is where they make their money. So this is what I want for day one. So during planning, we select, registration. The CEO wants us to do registration this sprint, so we are going to prioritize that. So this is where all these happen, prioritizing our backlog. There will be a list of all the items that we need to work on, but we will select the most priority ones during each sprint. Again, during this ceremony, the team commits to delivering a set of those items during this. So anyone that you pick up and commit during the sprints, we aim, I use the word aim, to finish it. But with Agile Scrum methodology, it gives us that flexibility anyway. In case if we don't finish what we committed that sprint, we can move it to the next sprint. So it gives us that flexibility as well. So why is sprint planning important? It reduces the risk of failure, because if you don't plan, you plan to fail. It reduces the risk of failure, and it ensures that the entire team understands the goals and priority for the work that we will do during that sprint. So that is sprint planning. And the next one is the daily stand-up, or you can call it daily scrum. So this is a brief time-boxed meeting of 15 minutes, time box 15 minutes or less. It shouldn't go more than that. Anything else that we need to talk about should go to the parking lot. So it should be time boxed at 15 minutes. That's what the principle says. That's what the Agile Scrum, their rules, that's what they said. So it needs to be 15 minutes or less. So this is where the team plan out the day's work, what they're going to do for the day. So in the meeting, each team member, I could say, Mr. Bonner, what are you going to do today? What did you do yesterday? What did you complete yesterday? What are you going to do today? Are there any impediments or blockers? So this is where, if you're having any issues, it's called impediments. This is where myself, the Scrum Master, will come in and try to resolve it as much as I can. So the importance of this meeting is for transparency, ensures transparency in the development process, showcasing what has been accomplished so far, facilitating collaboration, promote collaboration amongst team members, and encourage a sense of ownership. This is important, ownership. We are trusting you guys that if I give you this work, I work currently, so they trust me in my place of work that if I'm going to do this, I must do it. Okay, so this is the importance of this meeting, to make sure that did you actually, take ownership of this work that you said you would do yesterday? If you don't do it, then it's going to be a problem. So this is what it encourages, a sense of ownership as well. And then early issue identification. So it facilitates the early identification of obstacles, allowing for quick resolution. That's why I said during daily stand-up, we try as much. If you're having any issues, try to solve it as early as possible, because we really need to deliver this piece of software within 2 weeks. This is what the CEO wants. So any issues that you're having, there's no point waiting until the end of the 2 weeks to come and say, yes, I've been having problem with this. Why didn't you bring it up during the stand-up? So this is the importance of the daily Scrum meeting. So the next one is the sprint review. So the main purpose of this ceremony is to review the completed work from the sprint, from what we've done, and gather feedback from the product owners and stakeholders or CEOs, whatever you want to call it. So in other words, it's a meeting organized at the end of the sprint to collect constructive feedback from the stakeholders and product owners about what the team has accomplished that sprint. This is usually done after the dev team must have showcased their completed work. So like I said at the beginning, we will be practicing all this. So if we give you a work to do, we will come together at the end of the sprint. You're going to do a PowerPoint, PowerPoint presentation, and to showcase what you've done. Okay, so you will be doing a lot of this. All these ceremonies I've said, so you'll be doing a lot of it. So you will get plenty of time to practice it as well. So the importance of this review, stakeholder management. It provides an opportunity for stakeholders to see and provide feedback on the delivered project that you have done. Transparency ensures transparency in the development process, showcasing again what has been accomplished. That is that. And we will be moving into the next one, sprint retrospective. So this again is held at the end of the sprint to reflect on the past sprint and identify areas for improvement, because we want to continuously improve. There's no point in doing work and then we're not going to get feedback on what we've done so far. We need to improve. We need to improve to deliver this piece of application. So we do this meeting to be able to identify areas we can quickly improve, because like I said, the Agile Scrum methodology allows this flexibility, adaptability. So yeah. So again, it's at the beginning, sometimes it usually starts with an icebreaker or a game, sort of relax, relax from the sort of tense work you have done, the last sprint, and then we go again. So yeah, so that is what it is. Then the importance of this meeting, again, like I said, continuous improvement, team empowerment, fosters a culture of continuous learning and adaptation, and then enhances team dynamics, provides a platform for open communication and collaboration. This is where you feel free to talk about anything, because in this meeting, we don't have the stakeholders, we don't have the product owners. So this is where the dev team feel relaxed to talk about, anything. You can talk about, in my place of work, you can talk about your personal life if you want to, things like that. So this is where you feel free. This is the most relaxing meeting, the sprint retrospective. It's the most relaxing meeting out of all of them. So yeah. And then the last one is the refinement. So again, like I said, it's also known as the backlog refinement. So this is a Scrum ceremony that focuses on preparing the product backlog item for upcoming sprint. So again, it's an ongoing activity that helps ensure that the backlog items are well defined and appropriately prioritized and ready for the team to pull into during the sprint planning. So that is basically, in a nutshell, what refinement is. So, but like I said, the main goal is to enhance the efficiency of sprint planning. It basically makes planning shorter. That's what this does. So here you read the story, it's well understood. You then go on to estimate it. We will be using the Fibonacci method to estimate. You estimate it, and boom, our product backlog item is ready. So during planning, you're just going to be like, yeah, this one is more priority over this. So we'll take this into sprint. We'll take this into sprint. So that is the the difference between the both of them. And this event is an ongoing sort of event that happens throughout the sprint. So yeah, so we'll be using the Fibonacci series to do that. Yeah. So the importance of this is for continuous improvement. Again, encourages the team to reflect on the improvement, identify areas, team empowerment, and enhances team dynamics as well. The same sort of importance with the other one. So yeah, and then we will be moving into how all these comes together. So it's called the Agile Scrum Framework at a glance. So this is where everything comes together. The team members, where the team members fit in, and the different Scrum ceremonies that we do. So this right here, guy here, is our number one. We're starting with this guy here. So this is the first stage. So the PO is the first person that will interact with the customers. They will take inputs from the customers or the stakeholders, if you want to call it that. This is where they start gathering their requirements. Once they've gathered these requirements from these individual, he would then the product owner is the guy that would do that. He would then prepare our product backlog item. Yeah. So he would then prepare our product backlog item. This is where sort of they prioritize the features, bugs, whatever. This is where they prioritize it. And then, so when the product backlog is ready, then we will move into the sprint planning. Excuse me, 1 second. Pardon me, I had to take a cup of water. Yeah, so this is where we have our meeting. The team comes in. So this is now where we will commence what will be, taken into sprint. Again, the team will review this item right here. they review the backlog item, and then they will choose the stories they want to commit into the sprint based on priority. They will choose whatever they do, but it has to be prioritized as well. So they will decide what they want to take into sprint, but based on priority. Because I could say the stakeholder or the product owner could come in and say, I want registration to be prioritized. I want the homepage to be done. I want the footer of Amazon to be done as well. I want so many things. He will list a list of things. And then the team will then choose which one they want based on what the product owner has said is their number one. You know, just choose how many they want to commit. They can choose maybe 3 or 4, depending on their capacity for that sprint. So once the sprint is planned, then the sprint will start. This is where it starts. It starts like this. So 1 to 4 weeks, like I said, sprint takes 1 to 4 weeks. But here at PrimeSoft, we will be adopting the 2-weekly iteration. So yeah, so yeah, some companies can complete this in 3 weeks, some will complete it in 1 week, some will complete it in 4 weeks. But we decide to go with 2 weeks. 2 weeks iteration. The most important is as long as they complete whatever they have picked up from here. As long as they've completed what they've picked up from here within that short period of time, then we are good. We're good. So the first cycle is we go through this our first iteration, and during the sprint, whatever we've completed will be delivered. Will be delivered that sprint as well. So during this cycle, during these 2 weeks that we said that we will complete this the stories that we've committed, we will be doing our daily stand-up every single day for 2 weeks. We'll be doing our daily stand-up every single day for 2 weeks. So that's where the guys comes in. Every 24 hours, every day, we do our daily stand-up. And again, like I said, this is where we give our daily update of what we've been doing and if there is any blocker. So in the sprint, the Scrum Master will prepare the burn down, getting ready for our sprint review. So the Scrum Master will prepare this burn down chart or burn up chart, and this will say how much is committed, completed, and is pending. You know, the Scrum Master will do that. It's none of our business, but the Scrum Master will do that. And after the cycle is complete, so after we've gone through this every day for 2 weeks, we'll go through the cycle for 2 weeks, and then what am I going to say? So after we've done that, after the work has finished, then we do the sprint review. That's where we come here. So at the end of that 2 weeks, like we said, we do it here. At the end of the 2 weeks, we do our sprint review. Again, like I said, this is where the dev team, this is where these guys right here are going to show off to the stakeholders what they have done during the sprints. They'll showcase it. And then they will get constructive feedback from the stakeholders. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Yes, that's the sprint review. That's the end of the sprint. So after they must have collected the feedback from the stakeholders or the product owner of what they've done, the work is finished. And then the team goes back together. They organize another meeting to do a sprint retrospective. And then on this meeting, they are going to talk about what went well, what didn't go well, and is there anything they can do to improve on this sprint, that improve for future sprints based on the feedback they've gotten from these guys. So yeah, so the beauty of this is that, don't worry, it looks like, wow, there's so many things to be done. Like, I don't understand. In fact, I'm not understanding. You are going to get used to this. You are going to practicalize it, and by the end of this internship, you will become a pro. So all these processes that we've been through, we will be doing this here. Okay, so do not worry yourself at this point. I think that concludes the end of my slide. Before we move into the demo, does anybody have question?